Welcome to the SCUK Podcast, sponsored by Car Calendar, where we bring you insights from the SCUK team, as well as news, interviews and previews of upcoming events. I'm Martin. With me today, we've got Mark, Sean, Josh, and Matt from the SCUK team. And we'll be discussing a few of the meets that kick the season off and what we can expect over the next month or so. So it's been a busy month. We've had just a bit, season openers.
Yeah, 2 season openers, North and South. Second year we've done a season opener for each major region. Best attendance we've ever had. So North was at Melbourne Raceway. So firstly, thank you to the guys at Straight Liners, a company called Straight Liners who run Melbourne Raceway. Facilitated us to have that venue, have members down there. We did a photo shoot on the raceway, together. That came out really well, and then everybody got individual photos as well on the raceway at the beginning of the drag strip. And yeah, went really well. Probably close to 100 cars in attendance on that one.
I saw the photos. I unfortunately couldn't make that one, but the photos looked absolutely incredible. So loads of rolling shots. The media team talks about that. Josh, we invited some photographers up and coming photographers to come in.
Yeah, so we ran the campaign on the social media, and we got photographers from up and down the Midlands to come and attend. I think we had 8 photographers there in total, and it just meant that we got plenty of photos for the 100 or so cars that were there on the day. Like I say, we were doing rolling shots out the back of a T6 on the runway, so it was good fun.
Did the social media presence work? 'Ccause I think we got the same number of public arrived, didn't we?
I think we did, yeah. I think we did.
That's true.
Well, the event was, as Mark mentioned, it was co-hosted by Straight Liners, and they've got a long-running campaign at the moment to raise money for the Straight Liners, for the Melbourne Fund, which is putting tarmac on the runway to extend the length of it. So members of the public were invited as well, because it was a bit of a charity thing to try and raise more awareness and get some money for extra tarmac. So
it was certainly looked an incredible event, and just as awesome as the South opener, as we had Concord turn up.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's a member now actually. Just signed up. It wasn't on the qualifying car list, but we made an exception. I think Mach 2 is, anything Mach 2 and above is still qualifying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's got wheels. Yeah, no, that was another, considering the club is, at the moment, the membership is heavily northern biased. It was a very well attended event by any measure, but also given the weather in the morning, it cleared up, but the early weather was not that great. And it was amazing to see so many cars out.
It wasn't, and we were very fortunate with the weather for both of our season openers, because it was snow for the week leading up to the North one, and it cleared up just in time. So we were in 2 minds on kind of the Wednesday or Thursday whether to cancel it or not, or postpone it, should I say? And fortunately, we didn't have to do that, and I'm sure it certainly put a few cars off, but not many. So we're really glad that we managed to pull that event off.
Yeah, both of them were really just the attendance, the cars that turned up. There was some awesome cars.
Absolutely.
Cars you don't see every day that don't come to every event. Still made the journey out for the season openers. So that was really good to see.
And lots of new members there as well, weren't there? That were
lots of new members.
Yeah, first time, really.
Yeah,
which was great to see.
Yeah, and thank you to all the members who attended, both regulars and new members. Hopefully, anybody new who attended it gave you a flavour of what we're about, what the size and scale of our events, and how well organised they were. Thank you to you guys as well, because I know you worked tirelessly on the raceway to organise the photo shoots, and there wasn't much time for anything else. That took up all of your time, so thank you for that.
I'm better at directing other cars to park than I am at parking myself.
I didn't want to bring that up, but yeah, you're right. I won't disagree.
Yeah. So another incredibly well attended event this month was the Blakey Ridge Drive Out.
Wow.
Over 70 cars, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So, yeah, we were down we set a limit of 100. That's not the usual format of our drives, but we wanted to do an all member drive at the start of the year because our usual drive outs are for full members only. We've got 2 tiers of membership, a free membership and a paid membership, and they get access to the drive outs. But we wanted to do almost like an event that gave you a flavour of what's to come in terms of the drive outs. So usually, we wouldn't do that kind of numbers, but Blakey Ridge is a it's a great drive, but it's also a straightforward route. So we can feel confident that as long as we had enough ambassador support, we could run that event in an organised fashion where it wasn't just chaos. And yeah, we had 70 plus cars turn up. We ran it in four or five groups and went up Lakey Ridge down Saltergate and then ended at NY500, where car and motorbike themed cafe, who we've hosted events at for a while. They're a brilliant venue, and yeah, really appreciated their support because it was a great place for us to end.
One of the best breakfasts in Yorkshire as well.
I would agree. Yeah, great kitchen. Anybody who's in the Pickering, Whitby, North Meuse region, definitely get yourself down to NY500. It's a brilliant venue.
Awesome. Awesome. And, so thanks for the members who went, and it's challenging with that many cars. So being well behaved is really important, and, driving appropriately in a convoy of that many cars. So,
absolutely.
Well done to the members.
Yeah.
In fact, did all the cars make it to the end? We just lost a couple of stragglers.
We had one Porsche cook its brakes.
That's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Everyone, I think, pretty much made it. The only thing we had was a few dropouts because of the changing weather forecast. But other than that, it all went to plan.
I mean, that's the thing with this time of year, isn't it? The weather's always going to be changeable, hit and miss.
Yeah.
You never know
Yeah.
what you're going to get.
I think it was for me on that drive. Whoop! I was pressing something on my phone. Apologies, everybody. Oh, the meeting point for that was at Helmsley, wasn't it? And just to turn up in the centre of Helmsley, and it was just flooded with sports and supercars, and literally everyone, obviously really early in the morning, and everyone was still, was really wide awake, and just, it's just a great feeling to kind of look around and just a sea of cars and people, and it's great. It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think 2.5 years ago, we'd have probably done that drive and had 25 attend.
Not even that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're completely right. Yeah.
As early as it was.
Mm.
And people travelling, some members like David from Doncaster in the Yellow Lotus, he's listening to me.
It's a good 2 hours, isn't it?
To get there for an early start, it just shows how much members appreciate.
We have had some people drive up and stay overnight, from further south to come and do a drive like that.
Mm. And then we've even got members now offering us coffee at their pads after events now, haven't we? Where we have 12 cars that turn up on his drive, and he offers us all a cup of tea and coffee, so that was quite pleasant.
Nice.
Was, yeah.
Very
Thank
well
you,
appreciated.
Unofficial, not guaranteed. But yeah. Changeable weather. That was the Great British Car Journey day. That was another meet, another well-attended meet.
Yeah, it was good.
That was interesting for me because it was torrential, can't see where you go in rain at the start of my drive to get there, and then it had more or less cleared up by the time I arrived. So washing the car was a waste of my time, but it was a great day. It was a really interesting venue as well.
Yeah, awesome place. I mean, they've got, I think it's around 140 classic British cars that you can look through. And I think all the members appreciated that. And yeah, if you're into your classics, it's definitely somewhere that you should swing by.
Yeah, there was some classic supercars turned up as well. So
there was. Yeah.
Maserati, Merak, and Lamborghini Galpa.
Yeah, Lamborghini Galpa.
Probably the first time I've seen either of those two cars on the road,
let alone together.
Out being driven on a very damp Derbyshire day. So
I think right up to date, we then had one of the rarest cars I've seen was a Honda NSX.
Oh yeah, the new one, the 2016 model.
The new NSX.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice car, underrated car.
Very underrated
car.
Very underrated car.
Yeah. But Josh's granddad really enjoyed that day, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it took him down memory lane, didn't it, when he was walking through the museum? I think it was a case of dragging him out as opposed to...
We were getting all excited about NSXs, and your granddad was getting excited about MG Maestros, wasn't
yeah, that's it. That's it. It took us a while to get him out of the museum.
I think he's walking around the museum, and there was obviously loads of members floating around at various stages of going through the museum, and the conversations that were happening were, I had one of those when I was young, or my parents had one of those, or whatever. It's lots and lots of car history for members. You show up not really knowing what to expect. And it's a proper trip down memory lane.
Oh, really
it really is. If you didn't go there, if you didn't manage to get to the event, go there anyway. It's a really good.
And I mean, they give you a tablet, and it's got so much detail about every single car that's in there. You could literally spend 4-5 hours going through every single detail of each car. Awesome place.
Yeah, there's even a Formula 1 car in there.
There is even a Formula 1 car.
And then you've got drivedadscar.com.
You have, yeah. Yeah.
So you could even, once you've learnt about the cars, then go and take one of them out for a drive. So that's quite unique.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. DMB collection. That was a different end of the sort of age scale. Not classics, but buying up to date cars.
He's got some
DMB
crackers in there, hasn't he, Dean?
Yeah. Yeah, and the venue, a lot of cars, well attended. Last year there was more cars than we could park there.
Yeah, there was. I'm just picturing now the look on Dean's face when I told him we got 96 cars signed up, and he was like, "You joking?" I'm like, "Nope." And it's like, "We're going to put up." We found space somewhere.
Yeah, we got everyone in eventually, didn't we?
Yeah, it was good. It was good. We did the same venue last year, and it was a well-attended event last year, but again, really, really good. This year, I thought I managed to get out of the car park, I managed to get a sandwich, and I managed to get inside to see the showroom, because I didn't even see it last year. Again, too busy parking cars. But no, it was good. I really, really enjoyed it. Some people actually got airbound, didn't they, this year?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of experiences in the club, that's got to be up there, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely up there. That's what I mean. Yeah,
excuse
No
the
pun intended.
no pun intended.
I mean, you wouldn't normally expect to speak to a member one week at GB Car Journey for the first time, who I thought had come with another member riding shotgun. Lovely chap. Having breakfast, turns out he's a pilot. So it was a 10-15 minute conversation over a coffee and a bacon sandwich. And the following week, I'm stood again with a bacon sandwich and a cup of coffee, as we do at these static meets. And he comes over, and I wasn't expecting him to say, "How long are you here for?" So I said, "Well, I'm going to be here until the end of the event because I'm helping Sean manage it today." He says, "Well, give me 20 minutes and I'll get the helicopter out of the garage."
As you do.
You don't normally tend to hear that on a Sunday morning.
At a car meet.
At a car meet.
Yeah.
So I thought he was winding me up, to be honest. I just looked at him and had a joke with him and said, "Yeah, whatever, mate. See you in a bit." And then about an hour and a half later, he shouts over, Matt, come here." So this goes over and he's ready. "Do you want to go up?" And I was like, "No, you really are taking the Michael, mate. I'll let you know." He says, No. And he says, "Is there anyone else you want to bring? But he can't be as heavy as you."
Did he really say it like that?
Yeah.
No
So
shade
obviously I
thrown.
saw Josh. And I think Josh, when I said to him, we're going to go and have a look at a helicopter, I think he thought, well, which car are we going to take for the static photos?
That's the sort of direction I thought you were going in, not 1,000 foot up in the air.
And then when I didn't take my car, the colour drained from his face when he realised we were actually going up. But
That's
yeah,
brilliant.
I mean, Charlie does training flights and is stationed there, and fantastic pilot, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was great fun.
So, yeah,
Great
it was
fun.
brilliant.
Great
So,
experience.
Yeah, thanks for that, Charlie. It was amazing.
Club rebrand to Helicopter Owner UK.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another honorary member.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got wheels as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, true.
So that's been a pretty busy first few weeks of the season. That's a good solid calendar full of events.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much the theme for the next, well, until the end of the year, really. So coming up, we've got NC 500. That's, Dreamland stuff. Every real highlight of the calendar, isn't it? For that. When is that exactly?
That is the 23rd of April for 4 nights.
4 nights, yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's a tried and tested route in the car world, but it's just a fantastic driving experience. I still say to date that regardless of Europe and all of the places, it's one of the best driving experiences I've ever had.
And it's worth saying that it isn't the NC 500 route. It's a customized, supercar friendly, fewer motorhome route than the sort of tour guide route.
Yeah, this will be the 3rd time we've done it, and each year we kind of just tweak the route. Of one of our ambassadors, Mike, has had a massive amount of impact in terms of it. Sorry, impact input in kind of with this event, and he said, credit to his experience, and that he's done NC 500 countless times, mainly on motorbikes. But he, it's allowed us to kind of tweak the route, so we don't actually start at the official starting point in Inverness. We cut out some parts, but what we put in its place is some really awesome roads, some all military roads and things, and it actually equates to a really, really good You've not even done it yet, Mark, have you, with us?
No, shamefully, I've missed the last. We've done it, like you say, we've done it 2 or 3 times so far as part of under our SCUK club name, and I've never done it as part of the club. I did it previously with a different driving experience company, so I'm really looking forward to it this year.
Yeah, me too. Again, it's good.
Yeah, lucky few members. I know that it's massively oversubscribed, and so for the best chance of getting on it, the next one, it's like you got to be a full member. You got to be ready, waiting as soon as the go button's there for you to book on. So if you missed out this year, then good luck getting on it on the next one. In the meantime, though, we've got other things going on. Of course, we've got to meet at Chartwell. That looks like a really interesting, different thing. So Chartwell are a kind of supercar repair, bodywork, paintwork sort of operation. They've worked on some very famous cars.
Yeah, I think every car you see that crashes in the UK, I think ends up at Chartwell by the looks of it. Yeah, Chartwell are one of our SCUK sponsors, so it's good to host a meet there. I think we've got a fair few cars signed up already, so we're looking forward to that one. It's a very, very interesting and technical place. Recommend you come and have a look.
Yeah, there is still space on that event. So
there is, and I think it's fair to say that it's not your everyday body shop by any means. They brand themselves as the super brand body shop because not only do they mostly work on sports and supercars, but they have official accreditations from the majority of that level of dealer manufacturer, should I say. But when you go in there, it's like going into a dealership. They've got a 458 racing sim that they've built themselves. They've got an incredible body shop and paint area, which it's like, as I say, it's just not your run of the mill place. So I'd really recommend for all members to come and check it out because it was great to go and see it a few weeks ago when we went.
Awesome. I look forward to it myself. I've never been, but I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, me too. Oh,
yeah. We've got North Pennines Drive and Breakfast coming up as well.
We do. A very popular drive out on our annual calendar. We run it at least a few times a year. Everybody who has driven it already knows that the roads are fantastic up there. And yeah, just the same kind of format as the last few years, but I'm really looking forward to that one. For me, it's felt like a really long winter this time, and it's just great to be able to start hitting the road again. So I'm really looking forward to that one.
And that one booked up in record time as well, didn't it? That's another one where you really have to be an early bird to stand any chance of getting on that drive. It's really popular, which is a testament to just how good it is as a drive, really. And the breakfast isn't bad at the end either, is it? So.
No, it's good. And just worth reiterating that the reason we limit the numbers is to maintain the best experience possible, and so that's why our drives are limited. So if you do want to get on them, you need to be aware of when they're going live and jump on it straight away, and you won't be disappointed.
Excellent. And we do send out emails and things in advance, so you've got every chance to get booked on. Then there shouldn't be a surprise that something's gone live, as long as you're paying attention to your inbox, I suppose. The new for this year, we got some driver training going on at Millbrook, 2 dates. The first of which is next week. Really looking forward to that. It's not often you get access to Millbrook for any reason at all, let alone getting to actually drive around the place and receive some first class driver training. So I think that driver training for members is a thing that we're looking to do more often, let people get the best out of their cars and things through a variety of different approaches, different experiences and so on. This is just the first of hopefully many. I'm certainly looking forward to it. Again, that booked up in half an hour or something. That was very, very popular across the 2 dates.
Yeah, on that one we had to add a second session because it was full very quickly. But yeah, like you say, hopefully members enjoy the kind of the different experience of being on that track. And it's worth saying that one is being run by CAT Driver Training, and then in addition to that, we've also just begun to work with Hype Motorsport. The difference between the two kind of experiences is the CAT one, you take your own vehicle, and the Hype one, you get to drive theirs instead. So it suits different requirements of different members, but there's still space on the Hype one because that's only gone live recently. So if anybody is interested in getting some driver tuition at Croft Circuit and start to feel a bit more confident driving at speed, you can do it with their tutors, but also in their own vehicles as well, if you're worried about putting miles and the expense of an experience day on your own vehicle.
A lot of wear and tear on track.
Yeah,
most cars. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a good mix though, isn't it? Because Millbrook's like a road, really, isn't it? It's set up as, whilst it's a track, it's almost got the feel of a Pennine type road, hasn't it? With humps and dips and compressions and
very much that, yeah.
So I think, with Hype as well, that's obviously very much about a track experience coaching, whereas Millbrook, whilst it is a track, is, I think, good because it lends itself to actually providing training around the specific types of roads that we'd probably go on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's used by basically every automotive manufacturer in the world as a proving ground for vehicle dynamics and James Bond. Yeah, so there's a huge amount of variety in what's there, but the training this time specifically on the Alpine handling circuit, which is a bit more like the roads we drive on. Well, we're actually driving on Alpine roads this year in the Europe trip, so yeah, really looking forward to that. And in fact, all driver training experience is the best money you can spend on your car, because it just helps you get the most out of your car. So yeah, recommend to anyone to come along to one of those events.
Yeah.
And then selling out, well, not selling out because they've got infinite space, it seems, but selling fast is the Sports Cars in the Park event at Newby Hall on the 7th of May. That's a really good event for variety. It's always incredibly well attended. We've got, I think the last time I looked, over 40 cars attending from SCUK, but I think there's more than that, and there's about 900 cars in total signed up to the event so far. So yeah, and it's everything from classic Fiestas right up to the latest kind of hypercars. I think last year there was a LaFerrari Aperta there, wasn't there? So, it's a huge variety. So again, get booked onto that. We look
it was
forward
a glorious day last year as well, wasn't it?
It was. It's always a really popular event, that one. They do very well. The venue's great as well. So yeah, well attended by members. But if you haven't come to that event yet, definitely get signed on.
Fantastic ice cream as well there.
Is there?
An ice cream hut.
So that's your takeaway.
Just really good ice cream. Yeah, just come for the ice cream, stay for the cars. Yeah. Or the other way around.
What a perfect event slogan. Yeah. We'll pass that on to the audience.
That was, I think, the first event I ever attended at SCUK was Sports Cars in the Park at Newby Hall. Yeah, I think so.
Was that where you were one of the McLaren's parts on the front row?
No, I came in an M5 the first time I ever went to an event. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I did have, when I had the 720S, that was one of the ones parked to the front,
didn't you?
Yeah. So that was, but it was M5 was the first. That Newby Hall was the first event I went to, and I came in my M5, and I didn't know whether I'd fit in or not. Being is an M5 a sports car? Is it what is it really? It's a super saloon, isn't it? So was it going to fit into the club? And the rest is history.
Yeah,
it was a really good event. Okay, so this part of the podcast we're calling SCUK Supercar Stories. And it's kind of a conversation with a member or someone involved in the club about the cars, what they like to get up to, their best adventures and things like that. Bit of an open conversation, really. So today we're joined by Matt, one of our ambassadors, who's somewhat legendary in the club for car history. So
this is a long play podcast.
Yeah, we don't have the time for them all, Matt. But do you want to just whip us through the highlights of your car history? How many cars have you owned, do you think?
42.
42 cars. In how long?
How old are you?
Well, I don't know now, actually, how long is that? Yeah, it's roughly about 28 years. So I passed my test at 17.
Right. So it's more than one car per year.
Yeah.
Right. That is a lot of cars by just about anyone's standards.
There's certain brands that are still missing out, though, which I'll come on to, definitely. Okay.
So, go on then. What are the highlights of your car history?
Highlights. Has to be the first 1275 GT.
Right.
Little Mini. Which was fabulous for a number of reasons, in that it was faster than all of my other mates' cars at the time. So obviously that's a bit of a pub conversation, isn't it, when you're out there? But equally, having owned it for only 4 months, when I sold it for an MG Metro. And at the time I took it down to, I think, what was John Holland's place on Bramall Lane. And the guy said, how long have you had the car? So I said, about 3.5 months. He said, have you driven it? I said, oh yeah. I said, when I first got it, I said, I wanted to find out how fast it would go, as you do. And the needle, just after 90 on the speedo, was kind of a hard stop. And I was going downhill, and I found the needle hitting the speedometer hard stop and bouncing off the needle. And when I took it in to sell it, the guy behind the counter said, well, we've just had it up on a ramp. I think we could probably offer you 30 quid scrap for it. So I was, really? So he says, yeah. He says, because if you'd have braked hard in this from about 35 miles an hour, it'd probably split in two. Because all the subframe was rotten underneath. Many experiences in that car that I can't talk about on a podcast as well, which was great. And then, RS2000 was another entry, which was a great car.
Did that have a similar rusty fate?
No, it was in white. It was well looked after. I went through various litres of tea-cut on that car, but consistently well looked after, beautiful car, four-wheel drive version. So it was, the at that time it was the Premier League of what I wanted. Just a fabulous car, just great cars at the time. And then I think, in terms of more recent cars, I joined the club with an M2 actually, and it goes back to what we talked about in the previous podcast actually about. I'd had a modified Lexus RCF, which was their 5-litre V8, which was a really nice engine. You needed to really wind it on to get the best out of it. But I'd approached another high-end national supercar club, without naming names, and it wasn't on the qualifying car list, which I was really disappointed about. And then happened to come across SCUK at the time, just as I was switching out for an M2, manual M2, which I had. And it did make the qualifying car list. So that's when I joined the club, which was back in 2017, early part of 2017. And the club just offered, at that point, for me, an extension to everything that I'd had with my cars up to that point, which was always about spending time with my mates, being with the cars that I'd owned, going out together as a group. And then I finally found a club that then I could enjoy other cars with. And I think at that point, my dream had been to just follow a Lamborghini on a road, just go out on a drive and follow a Lamborghini. So lucky enough to get on a couple of events, and that's the start of my journey really with SCUK. And then since then...
Sorry, can you stop me there? Because I remember seeing you first time in that blue M2.
Oh, I got the matching coat.
And you got the matching coat on the same colour. So I was like, do you always wear the same colour coat?
Yeah, because then I started buying orange Sparko shoes with my 2 orange Lotuses I then had in the space of a year, didn't I? So yeah, I think I've got a theme of doing that.
Your coat matches your car.
Yeah. So then I guess right up to date then, I was featured in Lexus magazine with probably one of the only heavily modded LC500s in the country.
I remember reading that article. It got posted somewhere on Piston Heads or somewhere like that. I remember reading that.
It was odd. Trying to pass it off as a family car. And it was quite clearly nowhere near a family car. So yeah, and then I find myself bang up to date with the car calendar Mustang Bullet. So it's comparing it to the 2 Lotuses I had, which were very much like little wasps, actual B-road killers. The Mustang's a different beast, but fabulous car. It doesn't have the build quality of a 911, let's say, but you know what you're getting with it. It doesn't pretend to be anything. I think that's what I guess that's why I've had so many cars, because it's finding character in those different cars, and it's weird how certain cars have more character than others.
Yeah.
And you can connect with them on an emotional level as well, weirdly.
There's more accessible character. Like a Mustang, its personality is sort of up front, isn't it? You've got that V8 soundtrack, unless you bought the EcoBoost. Why would you do that? But, you've got that V8 soundtrack right there, and it's sort of in your face as this is a car with a huge personality, whereas something like, I know you had a 911 previously, you have to work quite hard to get the character of a 911 out of it.
Yeah, it does raise some eyebrows when I mention it, but I really didn't get on with the 911. It was one of those cars that I felt like you had to tick the box. As a car lover, you've got to have a 911 surely on your list. And having done it, I don't think I'd go back. It was just too efficient at everything it did for me, and I couldn't find fault with it. But that's probably because it was a better car than I was a better driver. Right. And I couldn't find the limits of it. Whereas I'd just come into that from probably still not getting over the Lotus 410 I'd had, and that was just epic, just in every way. So yeah, and like I say, I come to the Bullet now, and it's nowhere near as fast as the 911. It's nowhere near as capable, but it's got a certain charm about it because it knows it's, in certain ways, on certain days, it can be a little bit crap. And I think I like it for that.
Yeah. No, there's a lot to be said for cars having shortcomings that add to their character. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
So talk about 911 you didn't like. Are there any other lowlights of your car history? Sort of cars you thought this is going to be amazing, and just turned out to be just the worst decision that you regret buying.
So VTS has got to be up there. Yeah.
Made out of crisp packets.
Yeah, absolutely. I managed to break the gearbox in that one.
Nice. Just the 8 valve, isn't it?
VTS was a 16 valve, so that was the pub conversation I could have at that point, because it was, I think, 25 brake horsepower more than the VTR. So obviously you've got to talk about that, haven't you?
Yeah.
But I think it was either that, me breaking the gearbox, or the fact that every time you got in to drive it and start the car, you had to put in your bank code on a keypad that was in front of the gearbox, so it didn't have a proper alarm or immobiliser on it. You had to type in a keypad number to get it started. That was everything. When I went to buy it, I thought it was going to be the best hot hatch I'd ever owned, and it just wasn't. It was just awful. It was awful in every way. Rusted. Gearbox obviously went on it. But then I guess also I joined quite a high-profile software company, and they decided that they would allow people to go and lease cars. So you had free will to go out and buy lease whatever car you wanted. Most were going out and getting 320Ds or pushing and getting a 330 or whatever. I decided to go out and get a Megane 250 Cup, which again was great. Other than the first sales meeting I had, my sales director just came over to me, and I thought he was going to congratulate me on what I'd got. He just said, "What's that?" Because it looks like you've crashed into Halfords, driven through it, and something's come out the other side. But again, I love that car. It was great. I know you've had a Clio, RS Clio, haven't you?
I have, 220 trophy.
Yeah,
liquid yellow.
Yeah,
beautiful. That's a nice colour.
It's great.
It's a good car.
So again, there's something to love about cars that offer a character, that offer something different, but never anything as crap as a Citroen Saxo VTS. That's just
got to be careful.
Yeah.
The thing, just on that, a bit of a tangent, but the market for that era of car is rocketing. They're worth a fortune. So I had an XR2i. That was my first car. Story for another day. But I sold that car for 50 quid. Right? If I wanted to buy one now, it'd be 15 grand to get a straight one. They are unbelievable. But Peugeot 106 Rally, the 1.3 and the 1.6, but particularly the 1.3, they're on a rocket ship. You think these cars were dreadful. They were objectively dreadful, but they're our childhood now, our first cars learning to drive, or shortly after, when we could insure them or whatever. And because people are now old enough to sort of reminisce about those things, the value of them is absolutely rocketing.
I didn't get the French car out of my blood, I don't think. So I ended up with 306 GTI, which was a manual 6-speed. That was the first 6-speed I ever had. That was a nice car. And
Interesting
then
handling on those at the limit.
Yeah, not great. Which led me into I had a 172 Cup, Clio Cup. That was a great little car.
Still great now.
Yeah.
Still great now.
Great little car. Yeah. But yeah, every 15 miles the back box would drop off. So again, French build quality.
Yeah.
It was never going to be there, but it was just full of character.
Yeah.
Full of character, that car.
So you got the Mustang now, assuming, there's not car number 43 just around the corner. What are you looking forward most with that car for the future?
Well, at the minute, the car is very much being used to promote Car Calendar. So, I'm looking forward to getting out and about. We've got Adam Seafest coming up as well, where we'll be attending that. So I'm keen to just enjoy the car and take it out on more drives and obviously use it as a bit of a promotional vehicle really at the minute, which is quite nice. It's giving it a fresh flavour just having a different wrap put on it, which if you've seen it at some of the events along with Mark's,
Not shy or retiring.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, feeling a bit different just because of that at the minute. So yeah, I think we'll stay where we are for this season and see what next year brings.
Awesome. So at the end of this little section, we like to ask people to put a question to the members. So don't know if you've got a question for the listeners, and they can respond on our socials.
Yeah. So every car I've owned, I would say the majority of the experience I've had has been from the atmosphere of the engine, the sound it makes, the way it smells, the way it makes you feel. And I guess with the new era that's coming down the track with EVs and with hybrids, I guess I want to ask the question of what makes an EV a supercar.
Okay.
Where we think about 2-second 0 to 60 times, where we think about an e-tron GT being, an extreme example, if you want to call it that, of a saloon car for today. Could we call that a supercar? Can we, even though it does 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds? So I guess the question for the members is, what makes a supercar a supercar?
And can we still have it in
we still have it in the new era?
Right. It's a good question. I think we're going to get a lot of responses on that. Frankly, I think that's going to spark a huge debate in the comments, but we'll wait and see. Thank you very much. It's been really interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for chatting through your car history. And thank you for listening to this month's SCUK podcast. We look forward to seeing you at an event very soon. They're always going on. Please check our calendar and check Car Calendar for awesome car events near you. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thanks very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you.